the row major order and column major order, we have some steps here. First of all, we have to calculate the dimensions of the array, which are given by this formula. L of I is equals to U, upper bound minus lower bound plus 1. Here I refers to the, for example, here we have 3D array, therefore it must have three dimensions. Therefore we will calculate L1, L2 and L3 in this case. And after this, after calculating these lengths, we have to calculate the effective index in case of multi-dimensional array, and which is given by this formula. E of I is equals to K of I minus lower bound. Here k will these 462 will substitute the k. And then after calculating the effective index, the next step is to calculate the row major order and column major order by substituting the values of E1, E2, E3 and L2, L1, L3, which we have calculated in the previous steps. Now in the next slide, we will calculate row major and column major order by applying these formulas. Now I will switch on to the next slide. Here in our example, we have A 2 colon 6 comma 5 colon 8 comma 3 colon 5, and first, as in our first step, we have to calculate the length of these dimensions. Therefore L1 is equals to upper bound, that is 6 minus 2 plus 1 5, and similarly for L2, upper bound minus lower bound plus 1, and similarly for L3 we get 3. Therefore we have lengths 5 4 and 3, and therefore, we have lengths 5, 4, and 3. And in our question, base is 200 and W is equals to 4. Now, to calculate row major order and column major order of a three-dimensional array, we also have to calculate the effective indices, and which I have also given by, which I have also stated in the previous slide. They are calculated by the formula K minus lower bound. And now here we have K is equals to 4. Therefore, 4 minus 2, as lower bound for this dimension is 2. And similarly for E2, 6 minus 5, and for E3, 2 minus 3, as here it is 2, and lower bound for this 2 is 3. Therefore 2 minus 3 minus 1. And here, to calculate the row major order, we need these for these data. Therefore, as in this previous slide, therefore in row major order, we need E3 into L2 plus E2 into L1. All we need all these data. Therefore I have calculated this by using E2 and L1, L2, all these. And after substituting these values in the formula as mentioned in the previous slide, I got row major order as 304. And similarly for the column major order, after substituting the values of effective indices and lengths, I get and hope everyone is clear with the solution. And here is the end of my presentation. Thank you so much, sir, and my classmates.
Very nice, Rajan. I hope everybody is understood this. This question was just an extension of the previous one. Previous one was a two-dimensional array, and this one was a three-dimensional array. I hope it is understood to everyone. Just take a snapshot to have these formulas, because otherwise you will have to search for these, and here you have the ready-made solution. Fine, and you can get on to different exercises related to this problem as well, and do it yourself. Clear? Is that fine? So let us continue with the. Okay, Rajan, it was very well presented and very well done. Now you can leave the screen so that I can
Excuse
share
me,
my
sir.
screen. Yes.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes,
Excuse me,
Rajan.
sir. Sir,
Yes.
sir, in the third question, I have a problem. Sir,
Just
in the third,
just go to the third solution, Rajan.
Sure, sir.
sir, here this 2:8. What does this 2:8 mean? Like, does this give the number of elements in a row or the number of rows?
Yes, you can explain, Rajan.
Sir,
Just
here
go on to explain.
2:8 is the length of the first dimension. I guess Suksirat is speaking.
Yeah, yeah.
No, it is
Suksirat?
Kiran.
Sir, myself
Is
Suksirat.
your name is Karanjeet Kaur here.
Yeah.
Okay, fine, no problem.
Yeah, Sukhsirat, here as we know that A is a two-dimensional array, and here the first two column 8 is the upper bound, lower bound, and upper bound of the first dimension. That is, in general notation, we refer A as rows, comma columns. The two column 8 part is the row, comma, and it is separated by 3 column 8, that is 3 column 8, sorry, 3 column 10 is the column part. It is they are the low least bound and upper bound of column part, and 2 column 8 is the lower least bound and upper bound of the row part. Therefore, after doing calculation on 2 column 8 part, we get the row length, and the length which we get, it is the row length.
So, if we get the row length by calculating the dimension, the 2 colon 8 one dimension, so
Yeah,
the row length should mean the number of
number
columns.
number of number of
Low
row.
row length should mean the number of columns. Like the
Yeah,
elements in a row should be the number of columns, right?
here row length is equal to, after calculating after calculating 2 colon 8 length from you by using 2 colon 8, we get m comma
But
n,
And
and
what I want to ask is, by calculating the length of dimension, the 2 colon 8, then if that gives the number of elements in a row, like the length of a row, then that should be the number of columns.
actually the length of the row, or I mean we get the length of the elements in the row, because in case of 1D array, as we have studied yesterday.
what Karan is saying, she's right uh, in her statement. Just go on to defend that. She's saying if 2 minus 8 minus 2 plus 1 is giving the number of elements, fine, of the row,
Yes, yes
fine,
sir.
of the first row. Then this should be the number of columns in the it should be the number of columns in the array. Fine.
Yes,
She's right in somewhat sense.
yes sir,
Okay,
sir, but
we can discuss it later. I think she also has got a point. है ना? So it might be 8 into 7 array, according to her. Isn't?
Yes, sir.
है ना, Sukhsirat? You want to tell
Yes.
this? Fine.
Yes, sir. Yes.
That it has to be other way around. So in
Yes.
that case, row major will become column major, and column major will actually become the row major solution. That is going to be the change actually, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
In effect, this is going to be the change. Am I right?
yes sir.
Isn't it? So she's somewhat right. I think Rajan, she has a point.
Yes
So
sir.
we have to see that. Yeah. So
Yes.
I ask you to Google these problems now and go to see the exact solution. I think you have done it right, but you have taken 7 into 8 instead of 8 into 7. I think so.
Okay, sir, I will definitely say this.
Just go for it. Yeah. So these are the positives of our discussion. है ना? So we have to take the points of. Is there anyone else who want to discuss about this problem? Is there anyone else want to add something? Okay, ठीक है. I think it's enough. Sukhsirat, is it done? Sukhsirat, can you hear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. I'll ask you to take your names as your real names. Yeah. So that I can only call you as Karanjit because I don't know you are 6 years. So I would like if you are sitting with your proper names, fine? Because there is no other way for me to get to your name. है ना? I hope I am right in that. So Rajan, you can now switch off your
Okay,
screen.
okay sir.
And let's move further in our subject. So can you see my screen now? Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So moving further, we are going on to discuss the other two operations, that is inserting and deleting into an array. Fine. So we'll also look towards the pros and cons of performing these operations, or rather, we can say that what are the trade-offs of doing these, performing these operations. Because for every data structure, we will compare that this operation is easier in this data structure, this operation is tough in this data structure, and like that. So there will always be an end discussion that what was the cost of inserting into an array, what is the cost of deleting it, right? So inserting an element at the end of a linear array can be easily done, provided the memory space allotted for the array is large enough to accommodate the additional elements. Look at this highlighted line. So we all know that inserting is adding an element, and deleting is deleting an element from here. So deleting, if we want to insert an element into the array at the end of the array, here it is the easiest operation to do. It is the easiest operation to do, provided we have allotted more memory space to the array. For example, if we are having 10 elements in the array, but we have defined an array size to be of 15 or 20 elements, then only we can add. If we have not defined array beyond 10 elements, then we cannot add additional element into that array. Clear? Fine. So this is the first condition to add an element into the array, so that it is allotted or allocated a larger memory than its size. Fine. That is why while doing programming, you always allot arrays a bigger size than what we need. Right. So it is the easiest to append an element at the end of it. On the other hand, here, on the other hand, if we need to insert an element in the middle of the array, right, then it takes more cost. Why? Let us suppose we want to add an element at the fifth location. Here, add an element at the fifth location. Then the element of the fifth location will go at the sixth location. It will create a space. We'll have to create a space there now, because array is taking a continuous space in the memory. So if we want to insert an element at a fifth location in the array, it means the element which was already on the fifth location, that has to be shifted on the sixth location, and the sixth location one will have to shift to the seventh to the eighth to the 10th, and so on, and nth location to the n plus first location. So it is taking more time. It is, so what is the worst case for inserting an element into the array? What is the worst case of inserting an element into the array? Tell me someone. Anyone? Okay, I'll tell you. So if we have to add the element at the first location in the array, that is the worst case. And the best case is we have to insert the element at the last. Fine. So as we go on higher from the last of the array to the higher locations, insert a new element, we'll have to take more toll of shifting the elements one location down. Yeah, fine. Then on the average, half of the elements must be, so this is the average case. This is the average case. On the average, half of the elements must be moved downwards to new locations to accommodate a new element to keep the order of the other elements. Clear? Fine. Similarly, let us discuss about deleting now. Deleting an element at the end of the array presents no difficulty. Same. As it was easier deleting at the first and as it was easier to insert at the end. Likewise, similarly, it is easiest to append an element, delete an element from the end of the array. Clear? But deleting an element somewhere in the middle of the array would require that subsequent elements be moved one location upward in order to fill up the array. Fine. So if we delete, for example, in this case, in this example, look at this example. First location red, then green, 3 blue, 4 black, 5 white. Let us suppose I want to add the brown. If I want to add brown here at the sixth location, then there is no problem. If I want to add brown at this third location, then blue will shift down, black will shift down. First of all, I will have to shift down white, then black, then blue, and then a space will be created here, and here I will store the brown. Fine. So this is how it becomes difficult to add or delete from the middle of the array. Similarly, if I want to delete the white, then there is no problem. I will delete white and this space will become vacant. But in case I want to delete green, clear? First of all, I will delete green. Then blue will take its place. Then black will take place of blue. Then white will take space of black, and the space, empty space will come over here. Because array needs to be contiguous in the memory. Array needs to be contiguous in the memory. Fine. Is it clear to you people? Is it clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So let's move further. So it has explained through an example. We have already discussed an example. Here, we are not going to go into the more and more examples because this is I think it is clear. So let us suppose we will move on to the algorithm of insertion. Yeah. So here LA is linear array with n elements and k is the positive integer such that k is less than n. So we want to insert an element at some given location a here which is less than n, but a positive number, it means it is greater than 1. Here, so it means we have to insert an element in the array somewhere in the middle. Here, this algorithm inserts an element item into the kth position of array. Fine. So let us see how it do. Set j is equal to n. So first of all, we will initialize the j counter variable j equal to the last position of the array, that is n. Right? Repeat step 3 and 4 while j is greater than k. So till j is greater than k, we need to repeat step 3 and 4. Clear? So first, in third step, what we'll do, we'll move jth element downwards. So we will move the last element to the downward location. For example, I told you that in order to insert brown here at third position, first I will have to push white downwards, then this space will become empty. Then I will push black downwards, then this space will become empty. Then I will push blue downwards and this space will become empty. And I have to insert brown here. Let us suppose k is 3 in my example. Fine. So k is 3 in my example. So let us see in the algorithm. So set LA j plus 1 here is equal to LAJ. Easy. Whatever is stored at LAJ, we are pushing it to the LAJ plus 1. Fine. So now we can set J is equal to J minus 1. So setting J is equal to J minus 1 means we are setting J to black now. Here first J was 5, now J is fine. Now we will move, and in the previous step white has moved downwards, and now black will move downwards in the next step. Clear? So this loop will go on till we reach K. Till we reach K. Fine. So decrease counter, set J is equal to J minus 1. Insert element, set L8K is equal to the item. Item is the element which we want to store. So this is the algorithm for inserting an element at any location, at a given location in the Is there any doubt in understanding this? This is very easy algorithm. Fine. So similarly, deleting an element from kth location. Clear? So kth location से हमने एक element delete करना. So similarly, same array, same everything is same. So we'll start moving the elements upward. First set item is equal to LAK. So whatever is stored at K location of array LA, here we are giving it to the variable item. So we have taken the element out. Fine. Then repeat J to K. J is equal to K to N minus 1. So we'll only go to N minus 1 because array size is going to be decreased. Array size is going to be decreased because we have taken an item out. Here, move J's plus first element upward. Here, J plus 1, J is equal to K first. So we are moving to K plus 1 element. So let us suppose we wanted to delete green. Here, so J is equal to 2. We need to move the J plus 1 element. What is the J plus 1? It is third element. So we want to move it upward. And we have taken green out. We have set item is equal to green. Fine? Is that fine? So move J plus first element upward. So set LAJ is equal to LAJ plus 1. Whatever is stored at location J plus 1 of array LA, we are moving it to the jth location. Fine. So this will go on till n minus 1. Fine. Till the last element of the array. Fine. Reset the number n of the element. So set n is equal to n minus 1 now. So number of element, because it was array of size n now. So now n should be n minus 1. So set n is equal to n minus 1 and then exit. Fine. Is there any problem? Is there any problem? It's fine. So this is enough for today. We'll discuss about multi-dimensional arrays in the next class. Fine. There you will be more acquainted with what is column major, what is row major, and everything else. And you will be more clear about those two problems, third and fourth. Fine. So this is enough for today, and we'll take class now tomorrow. Fine. People are still pouring in. So this is enough. That's it from me for today. You are welcome for any type of questions if you have.